Wait,
I'm not ready. Wait. Okay, go.
Hi, I'm Smita and I'm from the UK.
And I'm Grace, and I'm from the United States,
And this is A Tale of Two Friends.
where Beyonce loves the party. We love to talk.
Yes, and we will be discussing a lot of things, including Beyonce herself, books, politics, and a whole load of some other shit. And what's happening in the world. Well, as when we film, whatever's going on in the world today, we'll discuss that too.
Absolutely. And we're also will be addressing a question on every episode. So let's jump right into today's question, which is, what three emojis would you use to sum up your 2020 experience so far? 2020 has been a hell of a year, and it's not even over yet.
7 months.
So
what's your first one then?
yeah, the first emoji I would use would be the side eye emoji. It's actually really known as being the unfazed emoji. And that's just because I'm exhausted. I don't have the energy for any other emotions to give towards 2020. I mean, at the time of this taping, Kanye just announced he's running for president. Like, y'all, like, what else could happen this year that I just can't get upset? I can't be sad. Like, all I can do is give you the side eye and be unbothered by it.
I mean, the good thing is that you're indifferent, aren't you? So you're not wasting your energy on this ludicrous stuff, because to me, Kanye is just Trump 2.0.
It's a mess. I mean, every day is something new. Like, we went from lockdown, quarantine, coronavirus, and how that's impacted the world, to like murderous hornets, and I don't even know where what happened to them. Southern states of the U.S. are like preparing for dust from the Sierra, which is supposed to hit us in some capacity, and we're in the middle of hurricane season, right? So we haven't even like had any tropical storms or hurricanes yet, but that is like about to come also. So I am side-eyeing all the things every day as I get new information about what's happening across the world.
Yeah, well, I totally can understand that. So mine's sort of similar to yours. So mine is face palm. So I am disgusted and just shocked and just angry and face palming all of the Karens of the world. So for me, Karen is a new phrase. I got it from Black Twitter, and it's just like, Amy Cooper in the park.
Mm-hmm.
She had her dog off the lead. This black man who was bird watching, was like, you need to put your dog on the lead. I'm gonna call the police. An African American man. That is just.
Is that like your Karen verse? Is that your U.S. Karen?
Okay, that was my US voice, but because the Karen voice would be a bit different. But I was just so like, this woman could literally kill him, and I was just like, whoa. And what I found mad was that after she lost her job and she had very severe consequences, which we're happy about, the Karenness was still continuing. People were Karening still. And we actually have, Karen now has been imported into the Indian South Asian community. So there's this British writer named Tash Samrai, and she come up with the term Karen G.
So you have to tell us what Karen G is, and what it means in your community.
So she was talking specifically about the UK's Foreign Secretary. So her name is Priti Patel. They are sort of like our version of the Republican Party. They're the right-wing party. And she basically was gloating that her immigration policies wouldn't even accept her own family. Mm. So she's out here on this very right-wing, anti-immigration, anti-brown and black community rhetoric is harming her own community, but she doesn't mind because she's a Karen G, and she's going to ascend in the levels of white supremacy and in her political career, just as it happens in the States, the respectability politics, and the more you're aligned to, let's say, evangelical Republicans' values, you'll get higher in the Republican Party. It's just the same thing. So, she was kind of like, don't just look at Karens, look at Karen Jeets and call the Karen Jeets out. So, yeah.
I call it the Karens and the Karen Jeets. I love it. Like, it's fascinating that now this term is trending cultures and borders and all that good stuff.
Yeah.
So my second emoji is the black face.
Right.
And that is because of everything that has been happening across the globe in response to the death and executions and murder of Black men, women, trans men and women at the hands of police, and it being no justice happening as a result of them killing all these folk. And so that has like consumed the news cycle for at least the past month, I would say.
I feel like,
partly because there ain't nothing else on TV for us to watch, because ain't no football, no basketball, no sports of any kind. And I'm sure everyone has tapped out of their Netflix list and have literally watched everything that they ever had planned to watch on Netflix, which is causing people just to see it more. Like, it's not like it hasn't been happening. It's been happening since the beginning of the U.S. being founded. But it's being televised so much more, and people have nothing else to do but to have to be tuned into what's happening. You can't
escape it.
Yeah. So the Black fist is definitely my second emoji, just because the highlight of what's happening to Black and brown bodies in the U.S., but also because as a community, we are coming together and really asking. It's not just about protesting and marching, but like having a list of real demands to say, like, this is what we want and this is what we want to see change in our communities immediately. So I think that's been...
Yes, so kind of like all the corporate companies, you know, they're going to say they're going to hire more Black people, they're going to have more Black people on the board. It's like we're past the point of, you know, stupid like virtue signaling things like the whole Black Lives Matter on the road, actually take action. And of course, Black Lives Matter is now not just in America, it's in many European countries and going around the world.
Absolutely. It's not enough to paint Black Lives Matter in yellow paint on the street, right? Like, paint washes away. I put
and I don't think anybody asked for that.
It's like, miss me with the paint, right? And it's great that we're also pulling down all these statues. That's great too. But like, miss me with that also. Like, I think, and from conversations I've had, we as a collective of Black people, it's like we want to see some real changes, right? Rather it has defunding the police or putting more money towards actually community activities that best serve our communities. Like, this is the stuff that we want. We y'all can keep y'all paint.
Yeah, like obviously with the mental health crisis that we have in the States, with the police get called out to them and then a lot of them end up dying, or they, you know, inject them, and actually that should be a mental health professional. Because the budget just isn't there in mental health, but if it was.
Absolutely. Like, that person will still be alive. Like, we would not be forcing, we wouldn't have so many deaths by the hands of the police.
Exactly. Yeah, that's a good one. So my second one, similarly linked to yours, but a bit of on a wider scale. So mine is the purple crystal ball. So me personally, I'm really into astrology. And last year they were saying that 2020 is like the year of systemic, societal, political change. Structures are breaking down. And I was like, seems a bit too much for 1 year. However, we're here.
And Surely did you know?
I think going back to coronavirus, I think what coronavirus has highlighted is that our economic and health systems just aren't set up right. There's a big focus on profit before lives, capitalism, let's make money. You know, in England, a lot of people working from home, but people who couldn't, like builders, they were forced to go to work and they could have got the virus and they could have died. So it's like, it's just, you know, it's just not, the focus isn't right. And if you want to see that on a grander scale, you know, we already knew that the healthcare situation was very bad in the States, but this has just highlighted how unfair it is. You know, Medicare for obviously is very necessary. A lot of health inequities. It's going to be a lot of evictions, a lot of people losing their homes and jobs. And then on top of that, you're going to add an unfair health system. You know, who's getting tested? You got to pay for a test. You know, all these things. So I think crystal ball for me is like, we've got to change institutions now. You know, we need to think about the environment. So there's a world that people can live in 50 years. We've got to think about getting away from fossil fuels. We've got to think about having a more, not a capitalistic way of living, and more equity. You know, Jeff Bezos, his wealth has, I think, grown 5 times or something.
I ain't paying a tax. Let me tell y'all something.
Go on.
I told my accountant this past year that I am not paying a tax. If Amazon don't have to pay no taxes, I for sure ain't paying a tax. Like, I'm happy to contribute my part, but like, to your part, there are people out here who are worth a gazillion amount of dollars who aren't paying a tax. Mm-mm.
Yeah, so like I saw on Twitter, like who's looting, who's the real looters, and billionaires in America and over here, millionaires as well, have increased their wealth so much, and
Mm-hmm.
we've got all these people who are facing real like economic uncertainty.
Mm-hmm.
So, and if you have the same amount of wealth as 90% of a country that has a healthcare crisis and a poverty and a racism crisis, it just doesn't feel right to me. So, crystal ball, I feel like the change got to come.
Yeah. Hopefully it does come, and this is not a missed opportunity for us.
I hope so.
So my last emoji is the cancel sign, which is like the red X marks the spot. And I don't know how that became identified with like this cancel culture or canceling things, but all over Blue Ivy's internet, every time somebody canceled, that's what I see. So that's the emoji I'm going with, right? And basically, any plans that anyone had for this year are canceled in some capacity. Either the entire event is canceled or the way that you wanted to roll out that particular event has been canceled. So a lot of conferences are now online and digital and all that stuff happening through Zoom because, you know, we cannot have large groups of people together, or you shouldn't have large groups of people together. And so all things have been canceled.
Holidays, weddings, birthday parties.
All the things have been canceled. All the people have been canceled. Now, we chatted a little bit earlier about cancel culture, and that'll probably be something that we address later on in the podcast. Because I know we both have views on that. But like, I'm here for all the Karens getting canceled, people losing their job, college admission letters being rescinded. I'm here for all that. Like
consequences.
Absolutely. And on this side, holding people accountable, right? Like, is this you? Is this what you said?
That's all over Twitter. So whenever someone tweets something about Black Lives Matter, they'll find like, but is this you? When they were being racist before. So it's like everyone's being held accountable.
Exactly. Which is great. Which is a great thing has come out of stuff being canceled this year. But it's just that, like, did we have to cancel all the things in order to like get to these new systems that you were just talking about? Like this forming this new government or this new way of life, or adding in equity for all people? And it seems like the answer is yes, but it's just like, good Lord. A heads up would have been nice.
And I think as well, like sometimes some things don't need to be cancelled, but you need to have the conversations people can learn. So let's say if you have a celebrity, like what happened with J. Cole, he makes a statement that people don't like, but then he came out and said, I'm learning, I don't know everything. This lady, No Name, knows a lot more than me, and she's much more educated. So it's like sometimes it's like, you know, people are coming out and saying they're not that leader that you think I am, but I'm learning. But also what I would say is that if you're looking for activists and Black leaders in the States, there's a lot of them. Yeah. There's a lot of them who will be discussing the requirements, the changes. So I feel like cancelling a rapper who might have made a comment is, well, he's not really cancelled, you know what I mean? So I feel like the cancel
culture, yeah.
Sometimes people just gotta learn.
Yeah, the late great Dr. Maya Angelou said, when someone shows you who they really are, you should believe them. But within that, we still have to give people space and grace to grow, to make mistakes, to mature, right? So my mama says, like, once is a oops, but two is a family. So are people like having oops, or are people having families out here? And I think we're so quick to cancel folks on a oops, when we probably just need to give them a little bit more space and grace and see what else happens. Before we like all out just want to go cancel culture on everybody.
And also like people got to read the books, they've got to do the work. So if they're coming out like I'm doing it, give them the space to do that.
Absolutely. But I mean, that don't stop me from having a cancel emoji as like one of the ways of 2020, because like I'm not saying we should cancel 2020. I'm just saying I'm saying 2020 canceled us. 2020 like literally canceled everything we had.
It has. Yeah.
2020 has literally canceled us.
It's canceled capitalism. It's canceled
everything.
Yeah.
Yeah, and so you know, I'm going up my ex.
Very appropriate. Yeah. So my final emoji is the unicorn, the mythical being that doesn't exist, but I'm using it in a different way. So I've got a quote from How to Get Away with Murder. So the character Tegan Price, she was a black woman, lesbian, and this was her quote, like, I'm a black female lesbian head of a law firm, I'm a damn unicorn. So that's how we're using it. They're like people that stand out, they're not like the crowd. So the unicorn in this context of 2020 is the anti-racist. Now, anti-racist is not always a white person. It can also be a non-black person of color like myself. So when you really want to be anti-racist, you've got to dismantle a lot of the structures that benefit even yourself. So
say that.
yeah, so I'm 32, and marriage is, you know, been in the marriage discussion, the marriage prospect's been a big part of my life. But I know I've benefited from that, from the whole colorism perspective. The guys are like, oh, she's lighter skinned, you know, she's on a lighter spectrum, I'll meet her. And it's like, if I'm in that space and that guy's saying that to me, obviously I'm not going to engage in relations, but it's like, no, this is wrong. You shouldn't be saying that, and you shouldn't be mistreating people from my own community. But it goes a bit further than that. You know, why does this colorism exist? Why are parents bringing up their kids? Why is the casteism around? Why are we, you know, why are so many of us non-black people of color, so, you know, Latinos, Pakistanis, Indians, Chinese, why is there anti-blackness? You know, why? And we know that some of it is the empire, some of it is divide and conquer, but some of it is our own practices. So with Indians themselves,
and our own privilege, right? And what we
yeah, exactly, because us as a community can be looked at as white people as the model minority, that we're just kind of like accountants and doctors, and we sit quietly and we don't really do anything. That whole stereotype where some people do that is actually very harmful to us, and we shouldn't be happy that that's given to us. Actually, we need to go out there, we need to dismantle anti-blackness. But also, if we are that person that just sits quietly, what you are doing is being a sort of agent of white supremacy. So, and many people won't use that language, but that is actually what you're doing. You know, if you are a Indian shop owner, you treat all your customers nicely, but not your black customers, you're doing it there, you know. So it's those sort of things. And triggers, you know, so conversations about crime tend to get these sentiments, and you have to dispel that, you know. Actually talk about the prison industrial complex. You know, many people don't know how that works, why it is so racist, and why so many people are locked up that didn't actually do anything. So it's having those conversations, but also, you know, really being committed to it in every form, really. So like I said, we know that we have anti-blackness in our culture, and steps are being taken because of the Black Lives Matter movement. So there was an Indian lady, she's an American Indian lady, she was Miss America, I believe, and she basically set up this petition, Stop Fair and Lovely, the whitening cream in India. They haven't stopped it, they've changed its name, but it's like, you know, the pressure's on them, foot's on their neck, like, this can't go on any longer, you can't promote this, you can't tell women that their brown or black skin is not beautiful.
Right.
Because, you know, we have Indian people in India that are just as dark as black people do. And the fact that they're not shown as the face is the very racism that we're talking about today. So it's like changing all of that and you know, being committed. So I read a few books in these 4 months just to help me understand.
What are you reading? What have you read that you would recommend to folks who want to help be an ally or be interested or even have these hard conversations with their friends and family to empower them to become allies?
Right. So yeah, I read a book. It's called The Good Immigrant. So it's got a UK version. It's got an American version. So it's a collection of sort of essay stories from black and brown writers, and explores what it is to be black or brown in the UK or the US. So, you know, they've talked about the immigration system. They talk about ICE. They talk about the, you know, things like in this country, we have a real issue in education that black young boys are expelled the most out of school, and it goes into the reasons of that and how you can help. Governors can help. Parents can help. You've all got to work together to stop these things. So you've got the American examples of race, and you've got the British examples, and people think that.
What else are you reading?
Okay, so then the other book was Hood Feminism. So this isn't specifically what it is, but it's about why women of color aren't included in the feminism movement, and how there's a lot of issues like food insecurity, lack of affordable housing, education inequity in inequity of education, and how that's not, if you go to a feminist conference or speak, they're not talking about that. All they're talking about is how do women become CEOs. It's very privileged. It's not answering the real question. And then the final book that I read was by Akala, a UK artist who's very active in the academic circles, and it was all about the British Empire.
What's the name of it?
Natives.
Okay.
Natives, yeah, that's the name of it.
Can you list the 3 books again with the name of the...
Yeah, so Mickey Kendall, Hood Feminism, Akala, Natives, and then The Good Immigrant by Nikesh Shukla, but there's a UK version and there's a US version, so there's 2 different books. So yeah, so I think, reading, learning, listening, and also like giving your place to others. So what I mean by that is there was this Indian academic on Twitter, British Indian, and she keeps getting asked to go on panels about what's happening. And she's like, why are you asking me? Why don't you ask the millions of Black female academics that I work with? And a lot of people won't do that, but they should.
Yep.
They 100% should. So that is an example of what we can do today. If we're getting offered something that's not for us, it shouldn't be. It's like, no, put that to the right person.
Yeah. Well, that answers today's question. Samita,
yes.
Do you want to close us out while I share our screen?
Yeah, so you can see our emojis there represented. So what we would really love for you guys to do is submit your emojis below. How would you describe 2020 for you so far? Please like, subscribe, and share our video. You will find our social links below where you can contact with us and talk to us and, tell us what your questions are and what you'd like us to discuss, because, we really want the interaction from you guys. And thank you for watching, and we'll have a new video very soon.
Yeah, we'll see y'all soon. Thanks.
Yeah, thanks. Bye.